For Williamson Source, I'm Kelly Sutton sitting down with Dean Sams, and we are in your recording studio. Kind of awesome.
It is kind of awesome. The only thing that's not awesome about it was, when we talked about getting together and talking today, I had planned like fully getting dressed up and looking nice for you, but I was working in the studio, and really, when you walked in the door, we were still working.
It's okay. I actually, yes, I got to hear a little bit of some of the people that you've been working with. Incredible voice, and that's something that you do besides being in supergroup Lonestar, of course. There's your plug. And living in Williamson County, which is really one of the things I think is unique because you're in Williamson County and you love it. You said you moved here specifically because you wanted to raise your family here.
Absolutely. When mine and Kim's daughter, Brittany, was in first grade, we found out that she was gifted, and that means she's really smart. And
she takes after mom.
I was going to say I did a DNA check, and she is mine. I'm just saying, but she's incredibly smart. So we knew that Williamson County had a great reputation for having the best schools, and our kids are our most important resource of the future, and I wanted to make sure she got the best education, and so we moved out here to Williamson County.
Now, talk a little bit about finding this piece of land, because, you were very specific about what you wanted, where you wanted to be. We're not going to give the address, but you can tell people kind of just where it was and what attracted you to this side of town.
Well, we had first bought a place actually in Thompson Station. We were going to build there, and I was really excited about it, and I thought Kim was as well. And it was 22 acres, and it had a pond and a barn, and it had a hillside, and it had a gate and fence all the way around it, electronic gate that opened up. It was beautiful. And literally 1 week after we bought it, I remember us standing out there looking, and I was explaining how we were going to build the house on top of the hill, and it was just going to be beautiful. And I looked at her, and she looked like I had just smacked her mama. And so I asked her, what's the problem? And she said, well, we're awfully far out in the country. And I was like, oh, you didn't notice that like before we bought it? So we actually sold it a week later and actually made some money. I love that. That's another great thing about Williamson County, score. But we started looking around again and we had looked at this piece of property 2 years before, didn't think it would still be available, but drove by here, and it was the last piece of property left out here. And we have a little over 7 acres. It's so beautiful. We have the hills, we have tons of trees, wildlife. We have a few neighbors. We only have 3 neighbors. Which is cool, and but we're only 12-ish miles from the mall, which Kim likes, and we're 5 miles from the store. So it's great. There's nothing bad about where we are.
It's absolutely beautiful. Let's talk a little bit about Lonestar. How many years? I know that's really what's been going on with you guys. You're back out on the road. You're back together. I know there was a time when Richie was doing his thing. You guys were doing your thing. Everybody's back together. The gang's all here.
Hey, the gang's all here. Yeah, everything's great in Lonestar world. We have an album out that we put out last June, I guess, and it's called Life as We Know It. And it truly is that this album, it reflects life as we know it. It's got some great love songs that people have grown accustomed to from us. It's got some great life songs, which includes like our new single, Just the Rain, which you were actually, you did the old cameo in the video. You're kind of a big deal.
Yeah, you asked me to play a reporter. I'm like, it's a stretch, but I think I can do it.
And you did awesome. Actually, we had more people say, hey, I know Kelly, and instead of paying attention to the song, but that's okay. You're never being hired again. But it's a great album, great single, Just the Rain. But there's also other fun, up-tempo, just rockin' songs. So a little bit of something for everybody, and it truly is life as we know it.
Absolutely. When you did that video, you shot that also at a location that was close by, and utilized a lot of Williamson County residents in that shoot as well. So it is very much a hometown feel. Pretty much anybody knows somebody that's in that video.
That is very true, and I love we had the Williamson County Fire and Rescue folks were involved in it, and there's one thing about Williamson County, or there's a lot of things I love about Williamson County, but you're not a stranger to really anybody. Even if you don't know someone, you can walk up to them, say hi, how are you doing? I'm so and so, and they'll sit and talk to you, and they're happy to help with whatever. And that's why we were able to get all the resources that we were able to get, including the house where we filmed our portion of the video, the school location where we filmed the the scene where you were the guest reporter.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Williamson County, there's just so much to offer. I love downtown Franklin. I was just sitting there the other night with my whole family. We were eating at we're getting some ice cream at Sweet Cece's. We're sitting outside on the bench, and it was like 70-something degrees, and families are out walking around together. And I said, I just love this town.
I know everything about it. And, here's the great thing, too. It's a wonderful place to raise kids, but it's a wonderful place to just be who you need to be without being bothered, which I think is why we have so many famous residents that live in Williamson County. I mean, there's something to be said, millions of records, and you guys are out on the road, and gold records, and I can't even name all of the accolades that you've had as Lonestar.
Oh, you want me to?
Well, I know you could because you sent me the list of all of them. I just forgot to print it out.
Right.
But no, I mean, seriously, being a celebrity and living in Williamson County, what is it about that people will come up and say, hey, but there's also no paparazzi, and there's no one that's really bothering you or in your business?
I think the only person that really stalks me is you.
That's true.
And outside, as far as paparazzi goes, but this town, really you can just be a normal person. I mean, I know when my kids went to another local school around here, me and a couple of my buddies, we built a baseball field for the school, and all the community came together. But when people do recognize you, they kind of just smile and wave and let it be what it is. I mean, I've seen and I use the term celebrity very loosely with me, but I mean, there's some really big stars out in this area. You got Keith Urban and Nicole, and Winona's out in this direction. Dierks Bentley's somewhere out in this area. Just a little bit of everybody's out here that's made their mark in music. Michael McDonald's out here.
Old McDonald Farm.
Old McDonald Farm. E-I-E-I.
Oh.
Right.
He's a very bad speller.
I've seen that commercial.
We totally should get a little bump from Geico for that.
I'm waiting for, let me know if you get a check.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to happen. Let's talk about your favorite places to visit in Williamson County. Your favorite restaurant that you and Kim love to go to in Williamson County, where would it be, and when do you go there?
Okay, I'm going to come clean and just tell you it's Barbara's. It's a meat and three. It's like this lady's house. Her name's Barbara. It's called Barbara's.
Is this like a friend? You just go to her house and knock on the door?
No. It's on 46 Old Hillsborough Road.
Okay.
It's at the very end at Old Hillsborough and Hillsborough Road. It's called Barbara's. It's a meat and three, but it is amazing. They cook everything fresh that day. All the country food you could want, from the corn and green beans cooked, real country style, with bacon in it and all that stuff. And their food's just amazing. I love going there. They have rolls that are like this big, and I kid you not. And I can eat a few.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Barbara's is really good, so that's probably one of our favorite family places to go.
All right, I'm going to have to check that out for sure. And of course, you guys are now out and around. If they want more information on where they can download the latest from Lonestar and, of course, see the amazing video, where can they find it?
You can go to lonestarnow.com. It's pretty much everything Lone Star you can find, from videos, pictures, where we're going to be on the road, when new music's going to be out. Anything that's going on with us, you will find at lonestarnow.com.
There you go, everybody. Thank you so much for letting us invade your space. One of my favorite people, Mr. Dean Sams from Lonestar, right here on Williamson Source. We are in beautiful Williamson County, of course, for Williamson Source, along with Dean Sams on your fantastic piece of property. A little known fact, you built everything on this piece of property with your own two hands.
I did. I even used my feet and my hands. Man, I use a little bit of everything. My noggin sometimes.
Very few times. Just kidding.
No,
Just kidding.
I really did use my noggin. Matter of fact, right over here, where my driveway to where, we come into my studio here, I was reaching over, I was pouring my sidewalk, and I needed something. I was reaching over to grab it, and I stepped on a rake, and it came back and hit me in the head, and I had so I did use my head. I had a big old shiner right here.
That's crazy. Now, did you actually draw the plans? Did you sit down with the draftsman and tell them what you wanted, or how did it all go down?
Well, Kim and I, what we did, we've moved a bunch, and we've been in Nashville going on 25 years. And in that 25 years, we've moved 13 times. This is the longest we've ever lived anywhere, right here in Williamson County, and we love it. We're not moving again, ever. Basically, because of all the moves, we knew what we liked, we knew what we didn't like, and so we started doing a bunch of tear sheets and pulling things apart and saying, yeah, we like this, we don't like that, and we hired an architect and gave him the tear sheets, and he did his initial plans, and I'd actually found a house that looked something like ours in North Carolina, it was in a magazine, and so it kind of has a little bit of that, but it's kind of, I don't even know what to call it. It's just pretty. I just like it.
It's just beautiful. But you were really hands-on in the fact that you were on a backhoe and a bulldozer and moving big boulders out of the way and nailing stuff in. So, I mean, this is truly a labor of love for you.
Labor's the key word. The love part took a little while for me to love it because I'd worked so hard on it that there wasn't a lot of love there. But yeah, like if you, we'll go walking around the property and you'll see some different pieces here in a little while. But every boulder we pulled out of the ground, I hired an excavation company to come the first day. It cost me like $7,000. I didn't notice a lot of work getting done, so I fired them and I reached out to this rental company. I said, how much for I need a bobcat, I need a mini excavator, an excavator, and a dump truck, like for a month. And so I got it, and I got on. They delivered the equipment. I didn't know how to use it, but I learned very quickly. And every one of these boulders I dug out of here, and I placed them in different places to level up my property, for my driveway, for the front of the house, for flower beds. So there's, I did all of that myself, and I did some brickwork, some stonework, just a little bit of everything.
Very nice. And of course, the studio that you have back here is incredible, state of the art, fantastic. Again, I know that really was something that you sat down and said, I want it to look like this and I want it to sound like this. I want this much input, because you know what a good studio needs.
Right, I do. And the studio was we jokingly call it, or my wife jokingly calls it, my doghouse. But I call it my man cave, Got my man cave, and anytime I get in trouble, which is about every other minute, I'm out here. I get kicked here, but it has a kitchen in it. It has a place I can sleep. It's and then of course it's got the things I love. It's got a piano, guitars, and things like that. So I love it.
Absolutely beautiful. Of course, it's here in Williamson County. Dean Sams, Supergroup Lone Star. Check it all out. LoneStarNow.com.
LoneStarNow.com.
And you're watching Williamson Soul.